What is up, everybody? Another episode of the RossduhBoss show. The world's going to but we've got ourselves a poop scooper called Comedy that makes it a little bit better so that you're not just alone during the suckfest, but we help you grab the popcorn. However, there's a giant ding-dong inside the popcorn like in those old movies, and guess what? It's gay, and it's coming for your kids. Ladies and gentlemen, the reason we think they're coming for our kids is because they've told us repeatedly that they're coming for our kids. I didn't dream it up. Tina didn't dream it up, even though she is Latinx.
How dare you?
She didn't dream it up. The white guy didn't dream it up. They told us exactly what they wanted to do. Tina, do you have that video?
I sure do. We have a little commercial, so...
You think that we'll corrupt your kids if our agenda goes unchecked? Funny, just this once, you're correct. We'll convert your children. Happens bit by bit, quietly and subtly, and you will barely notice it. Learn to love, learn to vogue, face your fate. We'll convert your children. Someone's gotta teach them not to hate. We're coming for them. We're coming for your children. We're coming for them. We're coming for your children. We're coming for them.
The gay agenda
Is coming home.
is coming home. Well, that's what we thought. We didn't think you were just a gay dude who was like, I just want to be gay, leave me alone. We were pretty sure that you were a gay dude who was going, we want your kids to also encourage what we do. And the reason that we know that they like to encourage what they do is because you've got all kinds of websites nowadays telling people to bring their kids to pride parades. And you've got stuff like this at pride parades. The reason we think you're coming for our kids is because of stuff like this. Also, so this is a sexual fetish. It's a kink. I don't even know what that means. But these people get aroused by behaving like dogs. And then you've got a little girl scratching the dog. I wonder if this aroused the man behind the dog face. And look at the onlookers. Look at the crowd above them. Look, old lady to the left. Look at the old lady to the... Well, the Asian lady's making the appropriate response. Look at that.
Yeah, but she's
This
there.
is fucked up. You know, that's what she's saying.
Yeah, look how happy
But this
one
lady,
looks.
she's like, oh, my kids also bask in the cotton candy rainbow colors.
And look at his... But we didn't notice this last time. Look at his face. When you just said, is he enjoying this? I think you might be right. Look at his face.
Look, I didn't take this picture, guys. I didn't put this on the internet. I didn't behave like this. But look at top right. Look at top right. Look at the top right lady. She's happy too with her toddler.
Oh, my gosh.
He doesn't know what's going on appropriately. He's just like, I don't know. Can I please have some G.I. Joes? Please, God.
Right, they just
Please, God,
play.
give me some G.I. Joes. My mom straps Barbie wings on me every Thursday and makes me flap around with water rings around the house. I'm so sick of this. I've eaten cotton candy, rainbow lollipops, and suckers for 8 months. For the love of God, I just want to play in the dirt with the freaking Tonka truck. Her mom's
wanna
like,
catch
no, you won't do it.
Oh. Remember the guy that went to the Texas Pride, drag your kids to Pride? Do you remember that guy?
Yeah, Alex.
Yes, he went undercover, and he said in a video, I can find it on Instagram.
Oh, that's not Alex. That's Tyler.
Yes, Tyler. He said in his video, I want to look it up and play it. Do we want to look it up and play it?
If you want to, go ahead. But yeah, so the problem with everything that we're seeing right now, I don't mind gay. You can be gay. Just don't tell my kids it's the better thing. Don't act like you found out the new way to be and it's all of a sudden significantly better than everybody. Have you guys seen the suicide rates from now and compared them to the 70s and 60s where gay was not even a thing? If everybody was being oppressed at the same exact level, they were even less able to be who they were then, and there was significantly less suicide rates. So something is happening in society, and believe it or not, people aren't killing themselves because of the gas prices. Although that would be legitimate, it would be legitimate. Sometimes I'm at the pump and I'm like, dude, $78 for me to drive around for a week is ridiculous. I might as well be buying an Uber everywhere I go.
That somebody had said that something was cheaper. Oh yes, a friend of mine said that it's cheaper now to buy the picnic table wood kits that are already made and done for you than it is now to go buy your own raw wood and make it yourself. Remember, it used to be cheaper to make it yourself, but now it's not. Everything is too expensive now. What was the name? What's his Instagram name? Tyler what? Tyler
USA, maybe?
I think, yeah, Taylor USA.
We're coming for your children. You can only sing that so many times. I get, certain groups of people, they're just so brazen about it, as if it's the only. It's like we have the moral authority on this. Trust us. We're 33 years old and we've been around the block and we've tested every religious system and moral system, and we have arrived, and we know, as well as our professors and anybody in the last 6 years before that, they were completely against what we're saying as far as sociological health. And there's no studies that show when you let children pick their gender, what happens to that society 50 years later. And it's not like they're messing with the chemical makeup, meaning like of a country. It's not like they're messing with one that's like Botswana or something like that, where it's like, I don't know, we'll try this social experiment and see what happens. It's the fastest horse in the history of the world, the United States moral system and the way that we've done things. And you're basically jabbing that guy in the neck with this compound that's completely unknown to figure out what it's going to do to it. I don't know. Let's just let all the kids decide which gender they are. And if you disagree with them, we punish you. It just seems like a terrible idea. Go ahead, bring it up.
Not just that, they're saying that we should wait till the age of 25 for the AR-15. Well, maybe we shouldn't let them change their gender at
Yeah,
the age
we
of
don't want
7.
them to have an AR-15 because they could make, immature decisions and really cause some harm. We mean like lopping off their genitals, Janet?
Exactly.
Hey, y'all, I just finished up at the Drag Your Kids to Pride event here in Dallas, Texas. And I'll be completely honest with you, that was by far the hardest thing I've ever had to report on, the grossest thing I've ever reported on. I mean, overall, it was just terrible. It was disgusting. I'd like to talk about one situation in particular. I have a lot more videos that will be released. I'll be uploading a full YouTube video later on. But this one situation kind of just really got under my skin here. Is you had, this family sitting next to us at the bar. They're serving alcoholic beverages here, and they have a kid sitting there at the bar as well. And he's sitting there with his face, plugged into his Nintendo 3DS. He doesn't care about the drag stars, doesn't care about anything going on there. His mom's trying to get him to pay attention. He doesn't care, still playing his games. And I overheard a conversation that was really startling. It was, he was talking to the bartender, and he said, "No, I'm not gay." And his mom butted in, interrupted this child, and said, "No, he is gay. Don't let him lie to you. He is." And the kid, you could just tell he was super uncomfortable. He obviously wasn't gay, but his mom's telling everyone he's gay. And he just sat there and played Nintendo the entire time. And I mean, he worked on a Rubik's Cube as well. I watched this kid solve the same Rubik's Cube 3 times. I mean, he didn't care to be there, didn't care about anything going on. And meanwhile, you have the parents on the other side of the aisle.
Get your thoughts.
I think everybody knows that that this is what's happening. That there's left-wing nut jobs who are now 27 years old, 34 years old, 33 years old. They never got challenged because it was illegal to challenge them in college and stuff because you'd get shouted down. So they've just basically enshrined some of their beliefs as if this is the only way. And the rest of the world is just not there. And not only not there, shouldn't be there, you know? And you've got a kid. I mean, this kid's probably just begging, like like that other kid. He's just begging for a G.I. Joe set. Just
Right,
for
exactly.
the love of God, I'm not gay, Mom. We'll just try the one more time. See if you like it a little bit more this time. Does it appeal to you now? He's like, this is weird.
Thank you. That now your child is telling you. Remember, we're supposed to be listening to the children, right? That's what this whole movement is about. Listen to the children. You should be listening to whatever they say they want to be. Well, this kid is saying, "I am not gay, Mom." And no, you're gay. No, Mom, I'm not. Isn't this movement about listening to the kids? He's saying he's not
I already
gay.
told my knitting club that you're gay, you little You're going to be gay.
I mean, how... That's the amount of virtue signaling. This poor kid. how selfish is that mother too? How incredibly selfish, because you want this attention online or this attention from the people inside the bar or whatever, whoever you want that attention from. And that's what you're willing to do to your children. It makes me sick. I was telling Ross today, it makes me sick looking at this stuff, physically ill. I can't, it's so much. Like other stuff, it's just, I'm like, well, the world sucks, whatever. But this, and something like that, that mother sitting there saying, no, you're this. Well, what if we did? What if it was the opposite? A gay kid, and you said, no, you're straight. Didn't we condemn that? Right?
Look at the sign that's in there too. In case you thought they were in case you thought they were just trying to just zoom into that. In case you thought they were just trying to have a nice, decent, show or whatever. So we made it. There was a funny meme that was made, but it doesn't matter. This was the neon sign that was inside of the actual drag show with the kids that were under 10, 9, 8, 7 years old that were handing $1 bills to what is the equivalent to strippers. They just don't have actual tits, right? So it's not going to lick itself.
Yep.
If that's not sexual, I don't know what is. You're sexualizing kids. That's all there is to it. There's two different camps of people. Haha, this is an ice cream shop, right? It's not going to lick itself. This is an ice cream shop, right?
Right.
Yeah. So anyway,
my goodness.
Look, there's two sets of people, okay? You've got one group of people who thinks that children should not be exposed to sexual content, period.
None. Like, even like on the hetero side or whatever you want to call it.
Yeah, like on my side. Christian conservative people think that I don't care if you're going to Hooters to show your kids like a girl in a push-up bra who's serving your 12-year-old son. That's weird. We call that guy crazy, weird Uncle Joe or something. We were like, don't hang out with Uncle Joe. He does weird shit, right? That was what we always thought about Uncle Joe. So our side still thinks that. You guys are going, how about we take them to the equivalent of strip clubs?
Yes, that's what it is.
Why don't we take them to the equivalent of strip clubs? I can give you 1,000 reasons. I don't know. If you're the person who's telling me that we should allow for children to be exposed to sexually perverse content,
right?
Then I don't know what to say to you. One guy said to me the other day, he goes, well, in other countries, it's not weird at all. The U.S. just has a weird moral system with their ratings for movies and stuff like that. I'm like, it's a great moral system. Sorry, I don't want my kid experimenting with other kids. Well, and kids do weird stuff, man. That's why you can't expose them to stuff. And if you don't think if you don't think sexual trauma matters, I want you to pick me out one of the drag queens that we just saw who did not have a sexually traumatic experience before they were 18. Mm-hmm. What's your thoughts, Tina?
I agree. I think I've said this to you before. I used to watch the drag queen makeup tutorials, and they would casually talk about in their early preteens doing sexually explicit stuff with men. And I know it's a coping mechanism that they would do, because they'd be like, yeah, I was 13 and I sucked but I made him give me $200. Oh, girl, yeah, that's so funny. Like doing the little eyeshadow, like. It's not really, and I know it's just their coping mechanism, but a lot of them do. I've watched many of those makeup tutorials. A lot of them talk about that, like, when'd you suck your first dick and blah, blah, because it's like they talk about fellatio and things like that with a very casual tone.
Well, they have to. You ever talk to a veteran who's actually been through real war and their friends get blown up? Their jokes are dark because they're wounded. Their psychology, they have PTSD dripping from every word that they say, and we're trying to get them healed. And then you come back from your traumatic experience, you're like, no, invite the kids. We'll do it to them earlier so that way they're in the same damaged boat that we are. It's like, dog, like, this is bad. Don't you get it? Don't you get that it's bad? Like, what age should we be telling kids about sexual things? And that's the thing about this entire thing. When you ask them what age, because in order for their ideology to be able to be pushed through, they have to be able to explain it to kids, because they want kids to be able to be free, which means you have to explain sexual things to children. And how young? Really young. And do you think that's going to lead to more harm or less harm? Well, we know this, everybody. We know that there are plenty of studies that I've gone over in other episodes of the RossduhBoss show where 75+% of kids do not persist in gender dysphoria after they reach adulthood, meaning that they no longer think that they're in the wrong body. We should really be prepping ourselves basically to be trying to not steer them in the hallway that might lead to a 45% suicide attempt rate. And if you're one of the people who thinks that the reason the suicide attempt rate is so high is because they're not being accepted, they were never accepted ever in history as far as the way that you're advocating for it. And the suicide rates are way lower, so that doesn't make any sense.
Exactly. Look, and they're getting younger. Check out this video from Landon Starbuck. Her and her husband do a lot of work with the child sexualization that's happening in schools, things like that. Let me make sure. Here it is.
If it wasn't enough to target children in kindergarten with their sexual grooming, well, now they've moved down to a new low, preschool. They believe fundamentally that children are sexual from birth, and they believe this because the radical sex education movement stemmed from the pedophilic research from Dr. Alfred Kinsey and people like Dr. John Money. All right, this is pedophile research that substantiates these disgusting, radical, unscientific beliefs that children are sexual from birth. And that is why they justify things like this. But really, it's a pedophile agenda and it's an exploitation agenda. Protect your children from this. Make sure that any childcare, any school does not have educators like this and doesn't have agendas like this.
There was a dude recently as well. I think it was Andy No that was exposing it. There was a guy recently that was talking about he was advocating. He was a professor somewhere, not the one we're about to show in a second, a different one. And he was talking about, I don't understand everybody who's so against this idea that children are sexual. We have tons of stories throughout history of grandmothers performing fellatio on their grandchildren, their young boys and stuff like that for this. And this guy's just going off about how people have sexually abused their kids and how it's like been to their benefit. Bro, if I saw you touching my kid's Johnson, I would rip your scalp off. Old school. Seriously, I would actually butcher you. Like, what an absolute perversion of the way that society should be, that we think that it's okay to sexualize our damn toddlers, dude. So I want you to show this other guy who's talking about, this guy was at the Old Dominion University, and he's basically explaining why we don't want to call pedophiles pedophiles. They want to call them MAPs, which is a minor attracted person, because of the stigma that comes along with being called a pedophile, right? As if the thought itself is not a moral crime, which is the problem, everybody. Everybody needs to be aware that the thought itself is the crime. It's not a victimless thing. And that's the thing. In society, we conduct ourselves in a very particular way. If I want to murder somebody, I have the inclination that I want to murder you, and then my moral boundaries that I have been given since birth and in my life around me kicks in and goes, hey, you're having really, really, really strange over-the-line thoughts. Stop thinking these thoughts now, or you do not fit into society anymore. That's one of the things. Now, for me, I want to fit into a biblical framework and actually be a regenerating human that loves God. So that's my thought process. And I go, that's a sinful thought. I'm not allowed to kill people. So I literally will not think this again. Sorry, I thought it, Lord. Society, I'll do better. I'll do better right now. I won't even think. I'm not going to kill this guy. I'm not allowed to kill this guy. It's off limits. The same way when I'm changing a diaper of my 3-year-old, my brain literally goes, I'm no matter what happens while I'm changing this diaper, none of this is sexual. It's just, there's a wall that goes, a healthy wall called controlling your own thoughts, where you go, I'm literally cleaning a person. I'm just doing a thing and then I'm done. You're supposed to have certain boundaries in your mind that your brain can't go past. And those boundaries, if you don't have them, we lock you up. That's the way our society has worked for a long time. So what this guy ends up saying, when you listen to it in a second, is that just thinking about children sexually isn't a crime. But actually, it is, because that means, well, just if you're thinking it, you're already in a boat of people that you would do the thing if you could. And what do you think happens? So a man thinks, so a man is. And if you put yourself in a situation where you have these temptations to, anyway, hit play on this Joker. You
no,
get it. You guys get what I'm saying.
No, I was actually going to say, that is actually, you said it in a really good way, in my opinion, that you're right. There are sometimes when I've gotten so angry with someone, not as far as murder, I want to whop them upside the head.
That's really what I meant.
No.
I never wanted to murder anybody, for the record.
We control ourselves. And and I'm not saying it's okay to have those thoughts and anything, but you effing control yourself in this thing, or out of society you go.
Yeah, it's a boundary line. I'm not allowed to think this and fit into society and be a functional member.
Right, or be mad at yourself.
Yeah, I'm not allowed to think this. And what they're doing is they're moving the boundary line for what you're allowed to think. And that means eventually they'll move the boundary line for what you're allowed to do. How much longer till they start selling miniature sexual robots that resemble a toddler? We don't want to have any real victims. And then somebody who's a billionaire is going to pay to have the real thing. They're already doing that. We're just not supposed to talk about it. Go ahead. Hit play on this Joker. Pull this up. Go. Jesse.
Thanks so much for that question.
Wait, hit pause.
I use the term minor attracted person.
I don't think this is I don't think this is a little deal. I might as well be laughy because I know I said I don't have murderous thoughts, but I have a few. I've got a few. Okay, rewind and hit play.
I use the term minor attracted person or MAP in the title and throughout the book for multiple reasons. First of all, because I think it's important to use terminology for groups that members of that group want others to use for them. And MAP advocacy groups like Before You Act have advocated for use of the term MAP. They've advocated for it primarily because it's less stigmatizing than other terms like pedophile. A lot of people, when they hear the term pedophile, they automatically assume that it means a sex offender. And that isn't true, and it leads to a lot of misconceptions about attractions toward minors. I've definitely heard the idea that you brought up, though, that the use of the term minor attracted person suggests that it's okay to be attracted to children. But using a term that communicates who someone is attracted to doesn't indicate anything about the morality of that attraction. So much for that question. I use the term minor.
Yeah, it does. You're not allowed to be attracted to kids and still hang out with anybody. That's the rule. Ask any group of people if you told them, hey guys, just so you know, sometimes when I hang out at your house and I see your 4-year-old, I get a little bit of excitement. Yeah. They would be like, cool. When was that specifically? Like, that would be it. You're not allowed to come hang out anymore, buddy, because there is a such thing as thinking that if I knew you were thinking it, I would be like, don't hang out with us anymore.
Right.
100%.
The excuse, there was a panel on basically, did you notice too that was a transgender person or a they non-binary person too? So
yeah, something.
I just should point that out. But they were arguing that, we don't want the stigma and things like that. No,
I would like
think
a stigma with an extra side of stigma with a large sloppy Joe of stigma.
It's this society that we're going into, Russ, that's talking about we shouldn't judge people. No more judgment. I think I want some judgment.
Yeah, judge harshly so that your kids don't end up victims.
And we do. It's like, well, if you actually think that, where we wouldn't have all these YouTubers and people making money off of makeup and hair and all this good stuff if you actually thought that. So don't even tell me that you think that judgment is beyond you, but that they want it beyond them for their poor behaviors like that.
Yeah. Well, look, everybody is actually judgmental. Right. Including yourself.
Right.
Like, in fact.
Yeah, I'm definitely.
And to be real, the people that are some of the most judgmental people are these people. Because they think they've cornered the market on morality about what is and is not fair and what is and is not equitable, what is and is not just and all this stuff. And by the way, their ideas of this has only been around for less than 15 years. That's right. It's not possible for them to have had a role model from longer than 30, 40, 50 years ago because they would have had one of the opinions that causes somebody to be evil in their sight. Oh, you didn't immediately speak out against the brutality that was happening to women in the 60s? You're a bigot. Like, let alone being able to follow somebody like Jesus Christ and go, he didn't condemn slavery every chance that he could in the Bible when he spoke. This guy's evil too. So like they literally put themselves, and that's the thing about this. They have established themselves as the highest order of morality in all of the land. And if you don't submit to their form of morality, then you're immoral. That's judgmental. You're telling me I'm evil. All I'm doing with literally 10,000 years of experience and similarity behind my ideas is telling you you're evil and this is weird. You jokers.
Nervous laugh.
What do you think? You're just allowed to come in the room and act like we're evil and we don't get to be like, actually your metric system sucks. We've got 55,000 years saying that this is weird. And by the way, we're the majority. And if you keep thinking those thoughts out loud, we're going to stop you from talking out loud because you shouldn't be around children or give any influence to anybody. In fact, not too long ago, we might have thrown people in jail for saying things like this.
100%. And it's really funny that you talked about them like being on this new pedestal of righteousness so far above the peasants
So
like
far
us,
above.
right?
You Neanderthals in your marriages.
Right,
Oh my
bigots,
God.
bigots. But it's funny that you mentioned that because remember the new video or movie that Matt Walsh came out with, What is a Woman?
What is a Woman?
Really getting a lot of people riled up here. Somebody was describing it when they watched it, that these people that were talking to him, that were pro all of this, didn't even think for one moment that they were any bit of wrong, that they were so delusional in their righteousness.
Yes.
That they are so far above, they're so smart. Like him, when I say you, I mean him, like talking
Right,
to
they're
them.
not coming to the table going, I may be wrong, you may be wrong, let's put it all out and figure out who should align more closely to the truth.
Yes.
They don't even agree to the idea that there is a objective truth.
That only them.
Right. That's the thing. What do I think? Which I don't know if you even want to put yourself in that boat. You really want to be the judge, the jury, the executioner of all things that are right instead of and ignore. Like, you know, the reason that you have a microphone is because the world got itself together and made room for little old you to have a microphone. Because you do understand that 200 years ago, had you spoken anything like what you're speaking right now, they probably would have flayed you alive. Like, do you realize, like, society has conducted itself so far to allow room for even people like yourself to have a microphone. And if it was so evil, you wouldn't like go to the Middle East and say this.
That's what I was gonna say.
Go to the Middle East and say this shit. You think we're so corrupt in the United States with our ideology? You think we're so far behind? Why don't you check the logos of your favorite company in those other countries that you think do it better than us? I wonder if they got the rainbow flag on Coca-Cola in Saudi Arabia.
Look at the
Nope,
FIFA.
they still just behead you. That's the way it works.
Look at the FIFA Cup. Did you see that
No.
just was in the news a couple days ago? The FIFA World Cup, there's an issue because it's being held in Qatar, somewhere in the Middle East. They basically told them, don't you bring this gay stuff over here. They said, don't dress gay, don't act gay. Verbatim. That's what they said. And like people are like, yes, up in arms. And they're not apologizing. They're
not apologizing because it's 99.9% of everybody ever has thought that way. And now we're the weird people if we're like, oh, seems like traditional roles and values and families and being able to procreate with somebody is a bad thing. It's like we're the breeders. I had one lesbian one time who I was talking to. She called me a breeder. It was like an insult. You breeders are all the same. Oh, it's like, oh, you mean me and all of human history, including every single one of your damn ancestors? How do you think you got here, dipshit? You know what I mean? Like somebody had to breed with somebody. But like imagine how mad you would be as an ancestor to watch your dad lived 4,000 years before you, you know, grandfather, and then little old you comes and it's just like, no, you know, and he's just like watching with binoculars and he's like, what?
Dumb.
What?
Like, what are you doing?
He was the only one. You know what I mean? It's just like, how selfish are you to completely cut off their bloodline and act like you're doing the morally justified thing? If you don't think you're brainwashed, look, if you were China and you were trying to destroy the United States, this is exactly what you would tell another country. Mm-hmm. Hey, you know what I noticed? They've been getting really good with bows and arrows and beating the shit out of us. What should we do? Well, we're not going to be able to fight them. Okay. What if we turned all their kids gay and then they had no warriors in like 10 years though? Mm-hmm. You know, and then China and everybody's just like, sounds good. Try it. You know, and they're like, how do we get that through? Well, we got to pay some of their leaders to be okay with it. And that's what's happening, everybody. It's not just China. It's more than China who's participating. But the United States has gotten in the way of so many other countries that they've focused their attention really squarely on just destroying the country. And what do you know? Because like I said, it's not like this is the slowest horse in the race and we're just seeing how we can do something to make it better. No, it is the fastest horse in the entire race. in the history of the world that blew every other horse out of the water. The way that we conducted ourselves and the way that the United States became the United States, the foundational documents, the way that we have freedom, all these different components that make up the United States are the reason that we have double the immigrants from the next closest country, which is Germany. Why does everybody want to come to a place like this? It's not because of let me tell you that. And so these people that are demanding that we change things, they're not messing with like the ugly car in the back. They're not like changing the motor of the crappy slow car that's in last place. They're going to the very top of the line freaking Bentley that's beating everybody else in the race, and they're going wham and throwing wrenches into the engine, and everybody else has to. Who's watching this go, who paid the driver to do this to his own car? And now that's exactly what you're seeing with Biden, with the gas prices, with the way that we're doing sanctions to other countries, where we're going, you do this wrong and we're not going to let you use our dollar. Imagine Verizon going to people and being like, we don't like that you guys are talking about T-shirts on y'all's phone, so we're going to take it away. And then what's going to happen? AT&T is going to take all your business. It would be the stupidest decision from Verizon, but that's what we're doing to other countries. We're cutting them off from using the US dollar, so they're going to other currencies. Oh, the people watching this have to be thinking, oh, somebody's intentionally paying to sabotage the United States of America in every damn way possible. And every minute we fight back, they're basically going, you're evil for fighting back. That's what's happening. That's a wrap, everybody. Have a good night. We'll be here all week. I'm just kidding. But that is pretty much what's happening. But I do want to jump into the first ad. Ladies and gentlemen, if you are trying to figure out how to run a business, how to launch a podcast, how to launch a show, how to launch a social media, how to be catchy, try to find a niche, need help marketing, whatever it is, I am doing Ross Bennett Consulting. Every single week for the next 3 months, I'm helping somebody because I want to give back to people, and I'm just amazing at it. And I'm loving doing it. Sign up. The link is in my bio. I'll meet with you, do a consultation. I can build your websites. We can build your brand. We can build your logo. We can come up with your advertising material. I'll help you learn all the social media crap that you probably don't know yet, but don't want to have to learn on yourself. And at the end of it, I'll hand you the keys to your brand new car, and you can drive your business and your new brand. Holler at me, everybody. Book an appointment in the links in the bio.
Links in the description.
The link is in the bio.
Or when something slides across, or ding.
I told you all many times that this is not exactly the way they wanted to go.
When you were saying that thing about like, well, we can't do it with firepower, so this is how we'll do it. We'll sink them like this, right? I am almost at this point, because some stuff is so ridiculous that it started as a joke. Somebody said, yeah, at the Chinese Communist Board meeting, yeah, let's go ahead and like tell them that people are non-binary or something crazy like that. And everybody like, they'll never fall for it, but whatever, guys, give it a shot. And then they're like, oh my God, they fell for it, guys.
Guys, they believed it.
I don't know. It was a joke. It was a joke.
We paid Kellogg's $8 million and they put it on the back of the box, and these kids believed it.
I mean, and now they're putting it in the schools. It's like, that's how I feel. Like,
and now they're putting it in the schools. Guys, you're not going to believe it. They brought the drag queens with the taxpayer dollars into the middle school, and they made everybody, it was mandatory. Yes, it was mandatory. They weren't allowed to avoid it. We win. Wait till we fight these sissies. Oh, let me tell you. They made everybody get vaccinated, and if they didn't, they kicked them out of the military. These guys are all going to be pussies. It's going to be so easy.
Or it's going to make them keel over. Did you see that Australia has this sudden, it's SADS, sudden adult death syndrome?
Yes. What's happening?
It's a mystery. It literally said a mystery.
Ruby. What's happening? I don't know. Did anybody inject themselves with mysterious horse shit in the last couple of years? Yeah, like everybody. Like 5 times.
Is it 95% of Australians? Because, I mean, they had to. Because guess what? They gave up their guns. Just going to throw that out there.
Yeah,
anyway.
Guess what? You had no choice. The Australians weren't allowed to travel 5 miles to see their family. You had people on Father's Day in Australia meeting at a 5-mile radius section where, like, they had to, like, they were on one side of the wall and their kids were on the other side of the wall for Father's Day.
Really?
Yes, in Australia, because they couldn't go I think it was 5 kilometers or 6 kilometers, 5.16 miles, whatever the heck it is.
Oh my god.
They were not allowed to travel beyond that, even to see their family. And you tell me you think it's a good idea to let the government be the only people in the room with an AR-15? Bro, no. Like, they do the weirdest shit. They've killed more people than anybody in history. Don't be the dummies who are like, let's give them the guns. I know you're afraid of school shootings. I get that. Governments kill way more than every school shooting you can put together and for the rest of all time. Like, it's not even a comparison.
No, I know, and that's what's funny. But the gun talk is a whole nother thing. But yeah, going back to it, yeah, it's just like you said, like, oh, the Chinese won't convince them to take this experimental vaccine that's gonna murk them all. All the fighting age people, like the young people, but have enough experience to be useful in the military. Because an 18-year-old really isn't that useful in the military. But a 20-something, 28-year-old, 20 to 35 with a good shape and a good mind.
Sure.
Oh yeah, dangerous
Well, the
person.
number one killer of 18 to 45-year-olds in the United States right now is fentanyl overdose.
Yeah, that too. Oh yeah.
Yeah, and they're just encouraging it everywhere. The posters that they got up there. Don't be ashamed that you're using. Be empowered that you're using safely. Like, that's a literal poster in New York City. I put it up on a video a while ago. That's what they're telling people. Do you remember how much they used to shame people for nicotine? Stay alive, quit smoking. Right? It was like a guy in bed who's like sort of dying and his kids are watching him and it's like, don't you want to be able to breathe at your child's graduation? You know, it's like shame works. It helps people stop doing stuff. And maybe if we can make drug addicts feel shamed of what they're doing, they might stop doing some of it. So they're like, it's like the harm reduction science, but it's like, y'all never believed this shit before. Just follow along for 2 seconds. Fentanyl is the number one killer of people between 18 and 45. Got it? Okay. New York City has these posters up. Let's zoom in. Don't be ashamed you are using. Be empowered that you are using safely. They must hate you. The number one killer of 18 to 45-year-olds is not using fentanyl unsafely and therefore getting Hep B or something. It's fentanyl. Why would they ever put anything that would empower people to use more fentanyl on a poster? Imagine it was your son, your father, your brother, your friend, your sister, and they were being somewhat encouraged about the use of the thing that kills the most people. They hate you, dude. Wake up. Don't be ashamed that you're using. Be empowered that you're using safely. It's like, no. That's like saying, don't feel bad that you smoke cigarettes. Be glad that you're smoking cigarettes with filters. It's like, no, this is a terror. Like, stop smoking, you dipshit. You'll die. By the way, this is the number one killer of everybody from 18 to 45. Once again, we can't beat up their guys who are fighting age. So what can we do? I don't know. Pay somebody in their country to tell them to kill themselves. Why do you think New York and LA are the two places where everybody just seems to be dying everywhere? Why are they allowing people to just use on the street indiscriminately no matter what? They're allowing open air transactions of drugs in the city, right in front of the cops.
Is that what that means? Open air transactions?
It means like, not criticized.
Okay.
Like, hey, did you say you ordered 3 things of meth? Here, I got them.
And then nobody's allowed to say anything to the cops or anything like that?
Well, I just think the cops just let it go.
Yeah, no, I mean, who has time for it? Like, because and they're being defunded, taking down the amount of people.
Did you see the cop recently? There's a cop recently who said that they no longer will be responding to 911 calls because they've already reached their gasoline budget for the quarter.
What?
Yes, 100%. 100%. They said they're not responding. They're gonna be slow to respond to certain 911 calls because they don't have any gasoline budget left. Yeah, let's slow the economy down and destroy. Do you know which percentage? Like, Washington uses the most electricity of any other state. Washington State does. Mm-hmm. Washington State uses more electricity. Do you know what percentage of that liberal state is renewable? 7.5%.
Really?
92.5% is good old fossil fuels and the shit that we've been using for a long time. And so you've got all these crazy politicians that are like 100% renewable. What they really mean is you're not allowed to use fossil fuels and petroleum. We are going to use it to funnel your electricity, because when we funnel your electricity, if you have a COVID party, when we tell you you can't have a party during COVID, we'll turn your power off like they did in LA. And I think they turned their water off too, didn't they?
It's funny.
can't remember.
I think they did. It was I think the Clout House or something like that. It was the one of those TikTok houses with like 15, 16 to 18-year-olds, or I don't know how old they were, living in those houses, like Charlie D'Amelio type people and everything, and they were having their parties, and it was well into where everybody's starting to say this is BS, so it's not like they were, being risky or anything like that. And it was a bunch of young people, which, remember, they said it doesn't affect young people like it does old people.
Well, now the UK and one other country that I can't remember off the top of my head is saying that if you're vaccinated, your hospitalization chance is higher than if you're unvaccinated. They just released this.
Did they say that?
Yeah, Paul Merrick, the doctor, and Paul McCauley, I don't know his name, the dude, the guy from Norfolk.
Yes.
The Centera?
Yes.
The Centera guy that got mad and quit because they wouldn't let him use ivermectin, and he's literally a world-renowned specialist in cardiovascular health or whatever, and they were like, you're not allowed to use ivermectin. He was like, I'm saving people's lives, and they were like, too bad. He was like, I quit, or whatever. That same guy is like looking at the UK, and he said that in a video recently. I posted it. It's on my Twitter.
Oh, we are gonna have to.
But so let's talk about the economy. Let's talk about how good your gas prices are, how good your meat prices are, where they're going to be soon. I think it's supposed to be $6 a gallon national average by August is what they're saying. It's almost $5 a gallon here, which is insane. I kind of just roll with the punches. But today, as I was driving around indiscriminately, just driving around, making videos, just trying to think for a little while, get out of the house, away from the kids, I was just driving around and I was just thinking, this is costing me a lot of money to think. So I just pulled over and I was like, I guess this is a little bit, irresponsible. Who would have thunk it, right?
So record high Memorial Day gas prices are stinging consumers and impacting travel. Gasoline prices hit a record high of $4.60 a gallon. Man, reading that this week hits a little different. I'm kind of like, I wish it was $4.60.
Yeah.
But that's how I feel right now.
It's $4.89 here. He says it's $6.15 out in Reading.
Oh my goodness.
Dude.
Analysts say
that matters. Imagine going to pick up your grandma from somewhere and it's just 15 miles. You're like, dude, that's like $6. All right, grandma, I'm coming. Yep. $6 there, $6 back. I drive a truck, Well, you should be driving an electric vehicle. Oh, so you guys can raise the prices on electricity because you're still using natural fuels and you're still using fossil fuels, and then electricity gets more expensive. The only thing that's different is that you control it. That's the thing about these people, because remember they said they want a kill switch on all vehicles made after 2024?
Yes.
Or whatever. They're talking about putting a kill switch in them.
Or
dude, this
is
I Am Legend.
Thing?
You remember I Am Legend? The movie,
yes.
Or not iRobot. I'm sorry, with Will Smith.
Yeah,
when he's driving in the thing or whatever, and then it like moves his car to the one lane, and then all the robots just surround him and start jumping on his car, beating him up. Like, we're like 7 feet. We heard that you said trans isn't necessarily a boy or a girl.
Yep.
They're just coming after you like, I can't get out. They turn off your car. You slam into the wall. They take your penis and attach it to a new trans person. They're like, now we got him. You're a boy now, aren't you? Aren't you?
That's really funny that you are bringing this up. Just a couple days ago, GM and all the CEOs and the big wigs and their little pantsuits, because there was some women there too, and their suits and everything, were showing off their new electronic vehicle, bragging about it, showing the thing, and then at the end, somebody asked about the power grid and da-da-da, so blah, blah, where's it getting? And basically 95% of the electricity coming from to power the darn car is from a coal plant.
Yeah, coal.
95% was from a darn coal plant.
95%.
This is insane. Of the energy used to power it. Oh, yeah.
Here it is. Let me see if I can share this. Hang on. Jesse, I'm going to pull this up for you. General Motors CEO virtue signaling about the volt being charged.
No, the battery in this particular design is a T shape right down the center and across the back seat area.
Wow.
Because everybody thought we killed the electric vehicle. No, we didn't. It's alive and well.
So what's charging the batteries right now? What's the source of electricity?
Here, it's coming from the building.
I mean, is it what's our mix of power?
Oh, actually, Lansing feeds the building.
What's that?
Lansing feeds power to the building. So I don't know.
They're
I bet you they're a bit of coal. They're They're heavy on natural gas, aren't they?
Right now the car is charging off of your grid.
Right. It would be charging off our grid, which is about 95% coal.
No, the battery in this
95%
particular
coal.
design is
Going
a
to-
T-shape.
Now, here's the thing. Coal's not bad. Clean coal. Coal's actually pretty clean now. They've really gotten really good at. They've gotten good at this. That's why they call it clean coal. But it doesn't matter. What matters is that your gas is expensive. Your wood's expensive.
But did you see that? Did you see that?
Yeah.
That this whole run, all the pain that they're putting us through to make us get those darn EVs, and it's still coming from the same sources that you're telling us that we shouldn't be getting it from. Am I going crazy?
Because all that's going to happen is you're going to burn more crap on your side instead of us individually burning more crap and on our side. You know? And the hydrogen cars, we already know.
And
we already know that we could run hydrogen cars right now for 4 gallons to get to New York, to get to LA. We already know this is a thing. I'm pretty sure the emissions are better, and it lets off oxygen. It burns oxygen off because it doesn't need it.
I didn't know that.
H2O, and it just takes the oxygen out, and then it's just hydrogen.
They have hydrogen fueling stations in California already.
Yeah,
And
but
Toyota-
they don't push for them though,
No,
and
no,
they
no.
don't allow you to do whatever because it's free. You
Toyota.
could actually do it free. If they could market it, they would do it. And that's the thing. They want to milk as much as they can from the people. That's the same thing with the pharmaceutical industry. You think they're giving you these medicines to help you?
Or the trans thing. It's this money-making industry.
Yeah,
what we're talking
for every
about today.
because the medicine that they give you, what's it called? Lupoma,
Lupro. Yeah, I'll look it up. Go ahead.
Lunapro, or something like that.
I'll look it up.
The medicine that they give you in order to block your hormone blockers is actually the same medicine they give to pedophiles to castrate them. Same exact medicine. And what's scary about it is they've paid $800-something million in criminal fines for lying to the public recently.
Who?
That company that makes that pill.
Lupron? It's called Lupron.
Lupron, yeah, Lupron.
Yeah, you were close.
Yeah, Lupron.
They were sued for what?
Lying. They have one of the largest criminal fines in history, only to be beaten by Pfizer.
Wait, I didn't know about the Lupron. Expand on that.
Yeah. Hang on. Let me look. 2 drug makers to pay $875 million to settle fraud case. Lupron was one of them.
Wow. Well, it must be nice to have that money to keep people quiet, huh?
290 mil. Yeah, well, the thing they've realized basically that if they can get away, if they can just commit the crime, make $8 billion or whatever, and then they pay $388 million in fines.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you put
It's a drop.
$1 in the ATM and you get $15 back. Which one are you going to do?
Yep.
You know what I'm
No,
saying?
you're right. You're
Oh,
100%.
and you don't have to put the $1 in the ATM until after you get the 15 first?
Yeah.
I don't know about you. If I didn't have morals, I'd be doing a lot of that shit.
Look at the opiate thing. The whole opiate thing. Did you see? I was a little disappointed in all the people celebrating about, oh, see how the opiate companies, I forgot whatever companies they were, the drug companies, they had to pay. Thank goodness they had to pay, and everybody's on their righteous high horse. I'm like, the money they just paid you guys is a drop in the effing bucket for them. It means nothing to them.
Yeah, nothing. They're going to do the same exact thing tomorrow.
Right. They won. And they did it too with making you think you won. That's the beauty, the sick beauty, I should say, about it, is that they made you think that you won and you didn't.
Yeah, then they just trade out CEOs.
Yeah,
Get a new CEO, change name, do whatever, get a new LLC or however that crap works.
Make a new drug like these new drugs are coming out with new pain medicines and stuff like that.
Like they're coming up with the new ivermectin, which is basically ivermectin with a
Ivermectin.
twist.
Yeah, ivermectin with a twist.
That's all it is.
Yeah.
Pfizer's like, we got this new antiviral.
Oh,
an antiviral. You think that might help with the COVID? Huh? I'm pretty sure recently you guys were saying that that's absolutely evil.
No, horse warmer.
Yeah, horse dewormer. And now you've got the people that were having the abortions that were mad because Roe versus Wade, which is set to commence in the next week. It looks like they're going to set up 2 public opinions. Opinions are going to be released from the Supreme Court in the next week. About one of them is going to be about Roe versus Wade. So they're getting the National Guard ready for rioting. Oh, let them burn down the cities again. You guys want to lose big in midterms? Go on, burn some shit down. We'd love to remember who did it.
Wait a minute.
Oh, go ahead and wear your mask, though, because you're not going to get prosecuted.
Wait a minute. Now, the media is already trying to run cover for this. Do you know what the media is saying? They're expecting, yes, Ron, and they're expecting a lot of violent protests from right-wing Christian extremists. They are saying that on the news already. So they're already blaming it on Christian extremists, who probably are just going to be there praying if they're there. I would recommend,
happy that they passed this opinion.
Right. I would recommend that Christians
and if
don't
Roe
go.
versus Wade stays, we're not more mad. We're already at an 8. If you leave it, we're going to be like, well, shit, we didn't really have a chance. Now we have the same amount of no chance that we had before to get you guys to quit killing your kids. I don't know why everybody calls us evil. Wear a condom. We're not, like, we're mad that you're killing kids because it just seems wrong to kill kids the same way that you'd be mad if you saw a little, like, imagine there was an eagle egg that landed next to your house and didn't crack. And you were like, oh my God, it's an eagle egg. It's large. This seems, you call the EPA. What is it? Oh, it's an eagle egg? Oh my God, it's a bald eagle egg. And then imagine somebody just walks up and claps it. You'd be like, you son of a, and then you are just like destroying your own literal offspring. And so, look, we're not saying that we can't handle what's going on in the world. We're saying you're being observably stupid compared to how you treat every other living thing that's in an egg form.
Because we're not going to do it. We're not.
Yeah, we're not aborting our kids. We want them.
Morality? Remember that morality?
That
we
whole
talked about
morality
earlier?
thing?
Yeah.
One of the rules.
Even if you let us do that Roe versus Wade things and that you're all worried about, we're still not going to do it.
Yeah.
We don't need a law.
Even if we could, we'd restrain ourselves because we have thought stopping. Something everybody should participate in. It's helped society quell itself for quite some time.
We are going off today.
You know what it is?
Like it's when it comes to kids, man.
It's kids and
Ross said
something else that I've recently done a very specific type of cleanse, everybody. And I'm just firing on most cylinders. I got a lot of foam.
But yeah, no, exactly. That's why, and I think that honestly, Christians should stay away from DC and all those areas because
stay home.
Stay home because
stay
it doesn't
home and
matter.
save lives. Now, I'm not saying that the FBI won't show up in your MAGA hat for you and try to get the world to go off on you. Okay, I'm not saying that might not happen. They might. You got a little Ray Epps and everybody. Well, folks, it's been fun. It's been another episode of the RossduhBoss Show. Plenty of crap to keep you entertained while the world burns. But hopefully you've got a personal fire extinguisher called the Beacon of Truth that we help give you in these shows. Bye!
Nervous laughter.